distinguished senator of Nigeria did not make a mistake. I cited, for an example, let me be honest with you. See, a person is entitled to reasonable perception. If her perception is that I am being discriminated against because I am this, I am that, because I didn't do this, because I was said to do that, she has every right to protest, especially in the floor of the Senate. And that's exactly because I watched the international media before coming here, and they are making a real, music out of this, whether it's the ABC network or the BBC.
So guys, you can see how American media is rubbishing the Senate President of Nigeria. Honestly, this is very shameful. And you can see this headline. It says, Nigerian Senate suspends a female senator over sexual assault accusation. This is coming from ABC News. This is a foreign media, specifically from the United States. And this is very, very shameful, seeing how they are reporting about the number 3 person in Nigeria. You can imagine this, honestly. And it's not as if it's only this American media house that reported on this. Al Jazeera equally carried the same headline. Like you can see this one. It says, Nigerian Senate suspends female senator who made sexual harassment claim. This is coming from Al Jazeera. So you can see that this is no longer a home affair. It is no longer a home news. It's not just a Nigerian news. This is a news that is being carried by international media houses, and it's really, really so sad, seeing the way this country is going. And apart from Al Jazeera, even BBC equally carried the same headline, and it says Nigerian senator suspended after making sexual harassment claim. This one is going to dent Akpabio's image. Honestly, it's going to dent his image forever. And for the fact that he refused to step down so that proper investigation will be carried out, is even going to worsen, the whole thing. They just sacked Natasha, thinking that people will keep quiet. So you can see that even international media houses are equally raising alarm over how Natasha was, treated on the floor of the Senate. Anyway, I'm not going to go deep in reading out the text here, but I'm going to allow you to take a look at how Tete, this analyst, who is also a lawyer, how he blew hot on Arise Television, defending Natasha and condemning Akpabio. In fact, so many people are now saying, so many civil rights, groups are calling on Akpabio to step down for proper investigation, because you cannot be presiding over a case that has to do with you. So guys, just take a look for yourself.
Well, it looks as if we have a group of tyrants in the Nigerian Senate. Just imagine that you deprive
very strong words, though.
No.
Very strong words.
What are you talking about?
When you describe the senators as tyrants, that is a very strong word to use.
It looks as if
we
have a group of tyrants in the Nigerian Senate, and we practice a democracy, right? Now, our laws say that a people will be represented at every material time in the Senate. Are you a court who deprive the people who have gone to participate in an election to determine that this woman should represent them, and you sit together as a committee to not decide her right? And your committee is not impartial, your committee is not independent, and you deprive the whole people of that constituency in Kogi State of representation. What are you talking about? And you say you are a democracy, and then you are telling me about fair hearing? Let me tell you something. There are what we call hierarchy of laws in our country. The Constitution sits at the top, followed by laws made by the National Assembly, followed by laws made by the House of Assembly. Also, we have regulations by ministers and rules made by the Chief Judge or by the Senate. Rules are not meant to be laws that are so technical, that are so rigid. They are meant to assist the application of the law to attain justice. If somebody is not present, you give the person an opportunity to come. If the person makes a mistake, whether signing a petition when he ought not to sign, there is no law against it. There are provisions for regularization. Senior advocates and lawyers make such mistakes against the rules of court every time.
And let me just follow up there, because you didn't really answer that question. Frank, you haven't answered my question. My question really was, can the people of Kogi Central, her constituents, now challenge this suspension? Was my question.
Wait a minute. Why would you contemplate that you will create a problem that does not exist, and then you send the people of Kogi West on an errand to go and challenge an clear illegality? Are you not guided by law? See, we are doing everything possible to save our democracy, and the democracy that we practice is we must govern, we must subject ourselves to the legal process. If the African Charter of Human and People's Rights Ratification and Enforcement Act in Nigerian law says at every material time, a Nigerian, whether by himself or a representative, must participate in his government. How dare you suspend? Are you a court? Are you a tribunal? Just because you feel offended? Why are we turning our democracy upside down? Right. A few days ago, a congressman was shouting down on President Trump. They didn't do the worst to him. They simply censored him and asked him to walk out. They didn't tell you that he was suspended.
Yeah, Frank,
let's practice it well.
We don't have all day. Now, there are some fundamental issues that may have led to all of this, and I'm wondering, number one, based on your observation so far, from the very first day of refusing to move from seat A to seat B, do you see exhibition of sufficient knowledge of the workings or the processes of the Senate on the part of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan? And when she says this justice will not be sustained, it will not stand, she remains defiant. And we're hearing from the Senate that if she apologizes, she will get some reprieve from the 6-month suspension. Your thoughts on this?
They are trying to browbeat, intimidate, and hold down a Nigerian citizen. Unfortunately, it's a woman. Just imagine that. Where did the rule say that apologize first before we will forgive you? And let me tell you, it is not really as a matter of course that anybody or any senator must master the entire rules. We have it as a saying as lawyers that God forbid that you should carry the entire laws in your head. And if a senator makes a mistake, it is a mistake, and that's why it's meant to be corrected and not should be used against her. And it happens, not all of them there understand the rules of the Senate. And every time when distinguished Senator Nnamdi was there, he kept on lecturing them every now and then while he was in the Senate. How can they now latch on a simple mistake or a misnomer? And let me tell you, you see, you don't even need to understand the English language or speak it so correctly to be a senator or a representative, provided you are able to represent your people. So what are we turning this thing into?
All right.
She has done creditably well, and she is even more articulate, far more articulate than these persons who have put her on trial so unfairly. What kind of country?
We're almost out of time. The very last question, very briefly. You have used the word mistake 4 times in the course of this conversation. Mm-hmm. 1, do you admit that she has made mistakes? 2, if she has, what was an appropriate measure to take by the Senate if they say she did not even present herself for the ethics committee to hear her out?
Look, that woman, that respectable, distinguished senator of Nigeria did not make a mistake. I cited for an example. Let me be honest with you. See, a person is entitled to reasonable perception. If her perception is that I am being discriminated against because I am this, I am that, because I didn't do this, because I was said to do that, she has every right to protest, especially in the floor of the Senate, and that's exactly what she did. And again, just the same way people plead the 5th Amendment rights, a senator, a Nigerian citizen, can decide not to show up, make whatever decision that you want to decide to make, and then it can also be challenged. What are we trying to? You see, we want to victimize the woman further and then traumatize her. And I tell you, you're not even making reference to the fact that there was a legitimate court order, as it was reported, that was served on them, and that they needed to respect the right of an individual Nigerian. It doesn't matter whether she's a woman or a senator, that whatever they are doing is capable of traumatizing and destroying the self-esteem of a Nigerian citizen, of a Nigerian woman. They didn't care. What good for people are these? Come on, they should get better advice.
Okay. Frank Tete, a Rise analyst and lawyer.
So guys, you have seen it for yourself. Honestly, everybody keeps shouting. Everybody keeps shouting. You know, we all know that this is not the first time Akpabio is being accused of all this. It's not the first time. And that is why it's even more worrisome, looking at how everything is going. It's not the first time. And that's why Nigerians are saying, why won't he submit himself for investigation if he knows his hands are clean? He should just, allow himself to be investigated so that people will know where to focus on, because so many people believe that Natasha is just being treated this way, because she's a woman. That's what people are thinking. That Natasha is being treated this way because she's a woman. If she was to be a man, nobody would dare it. I'm telling you. And if Natasha was to be from the Labour Party, nobody would dare it. You can imagine somebody coming out to tell you that you did something wrong. That you did something wrong. And then instead of you to humble yourself, you are trying to close the person's mouth. That's even where Akpabio is getting it wrong. And from the look of things, because they've suspended Natasha, it's even going to make things very worse for Akpabio, honestly. So guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you. Sorry, I was focusing on something else and just making a mistake while speaking. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.
Finally, Nnamdi Kanu's case has been reassigned to another judge. Yesterday, before the legal team conducted our routine visitation to Nnamdi Kanu, we received two separate official letters regarding his case. The letters are momentous and somewhat Pyrrhic. One letter was from the Honorable Chief Justice of Nigeria, responding to a recent letter we had written to her, seeking her prompt administrative intervention as the administrative head of Nigerian judiciary on the matter of a proper and lawful reassignment of Nnamdi Kanu's case, following the recusal of the judge that was conducting it. The other letter was from the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, informing us that the case has been reassigned to another judge of the Federal High Court. Consequent upon these latest developments, Nnamdi Kanu instructed the legal team to publicly convey his sincere gratitudes to the Chief Justice of Nigeria for her sound administrative discretions and the dispatch with which she responded to our request. He also expressed his profound appreciations to members of the general public who publicly expressed their support to our righteous demands that Nnamdi Kanu's case be reassigned to another judge, as the law demands. To be sure, Nnamdi Kanu has always been ready to take his trial because he is firmly convinced of his innocence. But the perverse events of the past 6 months, from September 2024, when the recusal happened, posed portent dangers to his constitutional rights, particularly his right to fair and speedy hearing. It was in view of these untoward developments that we were propelled to resort to taking extraordinary measures to ensure that his case is properly reassigned and conducted in accordance with the law. So, now that the first steps have been taken by the authorities to do the lawful thing, Nnamdi Kanu and his legal team shall take stock and hanker down to the zealous preparation of his defense. Signed, Aloy Ejimeka, Esquire, for Nnamdi Kanu's legal team.
When Nigerian citizens see the details of the Supreme Court statement today, they will marvel at how, after saying all these illegalities that the federal government and their security agencies committed, all they had to do was that the primary court said, the appeal court said that the primary court had no jurisdiction. So they condemned the appeal court for taking that decision. Therefore, because the primary court had jurisdiction, the case should go back to them. So if in all these atrocities they committed, they had killed Nnamdi Kanu, what will do is the basis of the primary court and its jurisdiction?
The new development about Nnamdi Kanu's case is that the court has bowed down to pressure and remove Binta Nyako permanently and replacing her with a new judge that is going to look into this case from the beginning and, handle it entirely. But before that, it all started when Nnamdi Kanu wrote a letter to the Chief Justice through his legal counsel, Ejimeka. And after that, day before yesterday, I reported that Nnamdi Kanu still filed 2 suits seeking to transfer the case from Abuja to the Southeast, since they said that they don't see any judge that will handle it again, apart from Bentanyako. So if it is only Bentanyako that will handle it, no other judge to handle his case, they should transfer it to the Southeast. And also, he is seeking 100 billion, damages against the federal government. And yeah, I think these are the major two suits instituted in Federal High Court. So I think it's a good development that Bentanyako has been removed permanently, because that is the reason why Nnamdi Kanu was raising the question that Bentanyako, I asked her to recuse herself, of which she did. What is the purpose? Why the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court still returned the fight back to Bentanyako? And in the year 2019, if I'm not mistaken, Nnamdi Kanu made a broadcast. He also exposed the reason why they said Bentanyako should handle his case. Because Bentanyako, her husband and her child, they had case with the federal government, whether case of EFCC and so on and so forth. So the thing has been lingering. Now, look at your screen. You can see the letter that Nnamdi Kanu wrote to the Chief Judge before, Chief Justice of Nigeria, I mean to say, and also the reply. Now, Nnamdi Kanu posted this thing in 4 hours ago, and this is what he said. Press release, 8 March 2025. Subject, Nnamdi Kanu case finally reassigned to another judge. And it reads that yesterday, before the legal team conducted our routine visitation to Nnamdi Kanu, we received 2 separate official letters regarding his case. The letters are momentous and somewhat parodic. One letter was from the Honorable Chief Justice of Nigeria, responding to a recent letter we had written to her, seeking her prompt administrative intervention as the administrative head of Nigeria judiciary on the matter of a proper and lawful reassignment of Nnamdi Kanu's case following the recusal of the judge that was conducting it. The other letter was from the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, informing us that the case has been reassigned to another judge of the Federal High Court. Consequent upon these latest developments, Nnamdi Kanu instructed the legal team to publicly convey his sincere gratitude to the Chief Justice of Nigeria for her sound administrative discretion and the dispatch with which she responded to our request. He also expressed his profound appreciation to members of the general public who publicly expressed their support to our righteous demand that Nnamdi Kanu's case be reassigned to another judge, as the law demands. To be sure, Nnamdi Kanu has always been ready to take his trial because he is firmly convinced of his innocence. But the perverse events of the past 6 months, from September 2024, when the recusal happened, posed potent dangers to his constitutional rights, particularly his right to fair and speedy hearing. It was in view of these untoward developments that we were prepared to resort to taking extraordinary measure to ensure that his case is properly reassigned and conducted in accordance with the law. So now that the first step have been taken by the authorities to do with the lawful thing, Nnamdi Kanu and his legal team shall take stock and hunker down to the zealous preparation of his case. Signed, Aloy Ejimako Esquire, from Nnamdi Kanu legal team. Yeah, that was what Aloy Ejimako, posted about 4 hours ago. Now, let us focus on this issue. The latest video I published about Nnamdi Kanu's trial, that was late in the evening yesterday, I told you people that Nnamdi Kanu is not afraid of trial. If you see someone who is afraid of trial, you will know that, oh, this person is afraid of trial. His conduct, his boldness, his agility, the way he speaks in the court, you will know that this one is no-go area. You can't intimidate him. You can't intimidate him. Now, I'm not saying that the change of judge will translate that the judge is going to do well, okay? Because it is still from the federal government, right? But I think the judge that took this case must have seen the whole drama that has happened in the court before. So let us look forward to seeing what is going to be unfolding. Now, Aloy Ejimako did not tell us the name of the judge. I think it's whether it's against their, I don't know whether it's against their ethics, so that you don't have right to tell the public the name of the judge of a person. I don't know about that, but the name of the judge is not yet known. I'm going to make more inquiry to make sure I find out who the judge is. It's very important we know, and apart from that, everybody will be happy. First of all, even as the case continues, we know that yes, this case might take some months to even up to 1 year again. But what we are saying is that Nnamdi Kanu should not be going to his case from the DSS detention. It's not right, based on the Supreme Court judgment. Okay, so that people will not say, oh, Kocha, you are biased, what are you? Based on the Supreme Court judgment, Nnamdi Kanu is supposed not to be in the DSS detention, going to court from there. No, he ought to have been bailed, go to his house, prepare for judgment, and start coming to judgment there. Even though it's okay, bail him and let him remain there in Abuja in his house. No problem. The man is not afraid of anything. Even as he is in the DSS detention, he's not being weakened. His spirit is not down because of that. So this is the situation that is going on. Kanu is a kind of person who have been telling the government to respect the rule of law. If you see someone that the government is trying, someone who is going to court and telling you to respect the rule of law, that is to say that the person is not afraid of the trial. The person is not afraid of, everything. And before we continue, there is this man that, breaks down what really transpired, because there are a lot of questions, complications surrounding Nnamdi Kanu's trial. Now, people are saying, what about Supreme Court judgment that have faulted the federal government from the beginning to the end? What really transpired? Why is it that people are not even talking about that? Why is it that the lower court, ordinary federal high court, is disobeying Supreme Court because of Nnamdi Kanu? Anyway, Dan Ondase explains that better. So stay with us. Before we go into the details, we have a guest in the house as well. Let us listen to Dan Ondase, what he explained about the judgment so far about Nnamdi Kanu case and the injustice that the federal government are carrying out against Nnamdi Kanu. Stay with us.
So, if anybody, when Nigerian citizens see the details of the Supreme Court statement today, they will marvel at how, after saying all these illegalities that the federal government and their security agencies committed, all they had to do was that the primary court said, the appeal court said that the primary court had no jurisdiction. So they condemned the appeal court for taking that decision. Therefore, because the primary court had jurisdiction, the case should go back to them. So if in all these atrocities they committed, they had killed Nnamdi Kanu, what will be the basis of the primary court and its jurisdiction? What will be the basis of it? When I started, I talked about judicial rascality. So what it empowers is security rascality. Because you cannot tell other police, army, navy, air force, condemn them plainly, and then you exonerate them. So you give them license to kill Nigerians, just like they are doing in Plateau, killing people. They are doing in Benue. Herdsmen are killing people. But you haven't had any person in this country condemn the herdsmen of Nigeria for killing hundreds of thousands of Nigerians. You haven't had them condemn the killings in southern Kaduna. So the security agencies have been encouraged to recklessness. And recklessness is not about spoken word. Recklessness with gun, killing Nigerian citizens. So if anybody, when Nigerian citizens see the details of the Supreme Court statement today, they will marvel at how, after saying all these illegalities that the federal government and their security agencies committed, all they had to do was that the primary court said, the appeal court said that the primary court had no jurisdiction. So they condemned the appeal court for taking that decision. Therefore, because the primary court had jurisdiction, the case should go back to them. So if in all these atrocities they committed, they had killed Nnamdi Kanu, what will be the basis of the primary court and its jurisdiction? What will be the basis of it? And look at the whole panel, about 7 judges, not one Igbo man, not one person from the southeast, not one person from the south. So it's a contrived business to put that boy, to put him behind bar. And we have been asking that they should turn him to Kuje prison. They refuse. Why wouldn't they allow him to go to Kuje prison? Why keep him at the DSS? Why? So it shows you that Nigeria is not interested in fighting insecurity. Because if they were interested and they love this country, they would have seen that Nnamdi Kanu is a major instrument that will bring security. Southeast will be a beginning. The other parts of the country would have been a follow-up. So it's unfortunate that you condemn security forces for the crimes they commit, and you exonerate them by keeping Nnamdi Kanu there and asking that we go back again, to start case from, Federal High Court Africa.